Hey everybody, CocoaButterCoder here again, aka Coco. If you haven't checked out my introduction video, please do. But a quick rundown is that I'm posting solutions to the Python challenge, and today, or at least right now, same day as the introduction video, we'll be working on level 0. So I actually didn't show the Python challenge website last time, but this is what we're working with. It says visitors have attempted solving the challenge since May 2005, so I guess that's why it kind of looks like it was made like late 90s, early 2000 website design. And I'm also guessing that whatever code they had here for displaying like numbers must have broken a while ago. But as you can see in this top bar, I don't know if my cursor is showing, there is a solution section. I talked about last time that I was having difficulty finding solutions or walkthroughs for some of these problems, and that's what inspired me, partly inspired me to make this like series. But there is a solution section, so if we click on it, we can see that there's like a wiki page, and let's click on like 5. I don't think I got that far on my own. So like here's the problem, right? You click on one of these solutions for a level, and it's great that there are solutions, but there's a permission error, and it says you do not have permission to read this page for the following reason. You are not allowed to execute the action you have requested. It's not broken, it's just that the way the site is set up, in order to see a solution, you have to solve it already. And I get why they would do something like this, like, just so that people don't cave in and don't give it a solid try before looking for solutions. But at the same time, it's kind of like when you like apply for a job, like an internship or your first job or something, and they say you need experience before you can get the job. So like in the same way, it's like some of these questions are challenging, and the solution that they've come up with is you have to solve it in order to see the solution to help you solve it, and it doesn't really make that much sense. So again, part of the reason I'm making this series is so that there are just another resource out there that people can check out even if there are people who are so interested in this. I don't know if there are, but if there are, at least I can maybe help in a little way. So we'll click out of here and open up this challenge. So this is kind of like what the challenges all look like. You get some image, sometimes it's a file that's not image related, and you have to manipulate it or find a keyword, or like do a certain task in order to get a keyword. And you can see where it says hint, try to change the URL. That's kind of like the basis of these problems, like either doing a certain action or figuring out what a certain image means or decoding some sort of information. And then whatever you extract from that, that's your keyword that you use for the URL, and that gets you to the next level. So here we have 238. I'm not going to pretend like, oh, I wonder if this will work, and then magically like stumble upon the answer. When I first did it, I didn't know what I was doing, so I just kind of put in like 238. And sometimes this happens, right? It'll say like, no, the 38 is a little bit above the 2. So sometimes there will be hints, like HTML pages that lead you to hints, or sometimes they're just snarky, like clever little things. And so this is saying that the 38 is a little bit above the 2. Oops, went too far back. 38 is a little bit above the 2, so it's not 238, it's 2 to the 38 power. And before I go further, right, a good habit for these problems to get into is just opening the source. So at least for me, I'm using Ubuntu, and I'm running Brave browser. You do that by hitting Control-U, and that'll get you the source page. And this can be really helpful because sometimes there's hints or other information, and even here, it's not intentional, like I guess as a hint, but you can see it. The image file is called calc.jpg, as in calculate. So this is not like a number expression, it's a calculation expression. So here what we can do is get out of here, right? And it's saying that it's 2 to the 38. So we could just calculate it. I just want to show further like some stuff that you can do when trying to solve these things. So you can do 2 to the 38, nothing happens. And this is what I mean. Sometimes it'll be like a clever thing or like a hint. Sometimes it'll just be like the page doesn't exist. So this was using the caret symbol. In Python, you can't use the caret symbol, which what did I do here? I think I got rid of something. Yeah, so if you do the operator for exponent in Python, you give the answer, not the question. So sometimes it'll help you out with certain little hints that you can go about and trying to figure out what it's trying to get at. And here's just something I found on Stack Overflow, something I didn't know about the caret operator. You know, we're probably used to it in like math, or if you sometimes like Google like math, you know, just quick things. If it's not like a full set of instructions that I have to do, if it's just like quick math that I need, you just Google it. You'll do something like 2, then use a caret symbol 38. But apparently in Python, it's like a bitwise operator for like XOR. So just be careful, like with because you'll get a result if you do this. Like I did 2 to the 38 just to see what happens using the caret, and it gives you 36, which is obviously not nearly big enough. So just be cognizant of stuff like that. But in Python, we have to use the double multiplication. So this doesn't really need a whole lot of code, but what we can do, like I said, I'm using Ubuntu, so I can just go into terminal. And Python 3, at least when you download it, comes with idle. I don't really like using idle. I usually use Visual Studio Code as my text editor, and so I've kind of gotten spoiled by like auto completion and linting, and idle doesn't do a great job at that. But for some reason, running Python in interactive mode in the terminal, you can actually do like some like autocomplete tab stuff. So we can just go into, if I just type Python 3, you can also type Python 3 -I, and I think it's for the most part the same, and just do 2 to the 38, and so you get this number, and that's hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, 274,877,906,944. We can just copy that and put it into our URL here, and now we're at level 1. And that's just kind of the basic format of these. You know, obviously it gets progressively harder as you go further and further. If we go back here, you know, we can see they're currently, I don't know if it's past this, but at least the wiki goes up to level 33. So there are 33 levels, and they get progressively harder. And sometimes it's not so much hard, but just like different skill sets. They're not all like, oh, what's 2 to the 38 or something like that. But right now, this is kind of like, that was kind of like, here's the basic format for how to solve these problems. And we don't have to. It's kind of like overkill. We did technically use Python, but we could open something like Visual Studio Code and then do something like save this as exponent.py, and then do something like for I, make it x for exponent, in range of 38, and then something like, I don't know, go back one, product equals 1. Don't make it 0, because then you'll just get 0 at the end. But then you do product times equals 2, and then print out the product. If we run this, where am I? I think it should be here. Python 3 exponent.py. We get the same thing. So that's just kind of like, you know, maybe a further way to do it in code. This is completely unnecessary, but obviously, because this is like the unnecessary route to do this, I can post it. I really don't think I should. But after this, level 1, level 2, because there is more code, I'll definitely be posting that stuff. I might post this on GitHub. Yeah, I'll put this on GitHub. So that's level 0. I hope you guys are enjoying this, or at least somewhat interested, and I'll see you next Wednesday.